Boost data collection with Survey123. Hi, my name is Max and I'm currently in the pre-sales team at Esri UK. I'm going to explain how you can collect form-based data with Survey123. I'll be focusing on Survey123 in ArcGIS Online, although I will mention Survey123 Connect. This video will start by running through what Survey123 is, before I'll show you an example survey that I've created. We'll then look at how you can get started making your own survey, and then we'll have a look at the analysis and tools available to you once you've gathered your survey data. We'll finish by having a bit of a look at some of the new features that are more recently available with Survey123. So what is Survey123? Survey123 is a smart form, which is a form that can be shared, filled in, and have the results analysed online. The aim of Survey123 is to not only digitize paper forms, but also allow the survey data you collect to tie into the wider ArcGIS Online platform. Survey123 is an entire end-to-end workflow that can be explained by 3 steps. 1. Asking questions. This section is where you consider which questions your survey needs to ask to get the information and data that you require. 2. Getting answers. This section is where your survey is shared out to the relevant people, whether that be the public or field workers in your team, to fill out the survey and get the data that you need. 3. Making decisions, viewing and analysing the data. You now have results from your survey, which are ready to be analysed to help you make informed decisions or gain insights into your survey data set. So with these 3 steps, you can plan your survey, produce the survey, share that out, and then make decisions using that data, all within one platform. I'm now going to give you an example of this by showing you one of the surveys that I've made. This is the British Deer Survey, which is a survey I've made in the web Survey123. The purpose of this survey is for helping members of the public record the sightings that they have of deer when they're going on walks or on public transport or driving to work. And the main overall goal of the survey is to help give an insight into deer populations across the UK. Now, I've started this survey with a question asking whether their user has an ID number. This is a demonstration of how you can set up surveys to only have specific responses. So if I click yes, I have a British Deer Surveyor ID number, it's letting me know that I need an 8-digit number. So as I put in numbers here, you can see that it's flagging that it's not 8 digits. And once I get to 8 digits, it's accepting it. And if I go over that, it's rejecting it again. So you can set these specific questions within Survey123, meaning that you always get the type of answer that you're looking for. The second question here is asking us to record where the deer sighting happened. So I'm going to zoom in on the map. And I'm going to imagine that I've recently been on a walk and I've seen a deer. And I'm going to mark the location where I've seen the deer. I'm going to record a time that this deer sighting happened. So I'm going to say that this was on my lunch break and I saw it at 1:15 in the afternoon. So you can put in these date and time questions that default with the current date. Now here I've got a multiple choice question, and this is a select one question. So I'm going to say that I've seen a roe deer. And I've also added in a little link in case the user that's working through this survey isn't sure which species they've seen, that takes them to an identification guide. How many deer did I see in this one sighting? So here I can respond with a number. I'm going to say that I just saw the 1 deer. Can you identify the gender? I'm going to say yes, I could, and you can see that once I do this, 2 more questions appear that weren't there previously. So if I switch this to no, they vanish and I'll never be asked those questions. So we'll go with yes, and we'll say that there was 1 female deer that we saw. Were there any young deer? It was only the one deer, so I'm going to put no. What were the deer doing? So in this case, the deer was grazing. I can then choose to upload a picture of the deer. So if I go into here, I've got a picture ready. So I'm going to upload the pretty good photo that I took of the deer. And then I'm getting some other questions that are relating and could be useful if you're trying to understand when people are seeing deer and what the kind of what the day was like. So there are some weather questions. So I'm going to say that it was cloudy and overcast and that there was a relative amount of wind. So some of the branches were moving on any nearby undergrowth. What was I doing? I was going for a walk on my lunch break. And then I can add in any other notes. So I'm going to put down that the deer noticed me and ran away. I'm then going to submit this survey and that will be uploaded back to the database. So Survey123 can be downloaded onto smartphones, iOS, Android, Windows, which means that these surveys can be completed out in the field, and as long as you've got an internet connection, they'll automatically be uploaded back to the Survey123 site. So you could have multiple surveyors out on the streets finding out information, and all of the survey responses that we're going through were being fed back into this one database. So there's no write-up when you get back to the office, it's all automatically uploaded. So how can you get started making your own survey? So here I've signed into ArcGIS Online and I'm going to go to the waffle here, the 9 dots, go into Survey123. I'm then going to go create new survey. So this is the Survey123 interface. We're in the design tab here, which is where you make the survey, and then we're in the add option here. And these are the different question types that we can ask. And this is the survey itself, and we can drag the question types into here, and it will automatically populate it with a question. Now we can change the title of the question here. We can add some more information if we think that users would need a bit more direction in how to fill out the question. We can also then change the choices. I tend to go into batch edit, and then the question choices are simply put one on each row. You can then change the appearance of the question, so you can break it down into these different options. And you can also set whether or not the question is required. So the survey cannot be submitted if there's a not filled in required survey. We can also select this option to cache answers to this question. So this means that say you're out in the field and you're filling in the survey multiple times back to back, and you've filled in your contact details at the start, then rather than having to fill them out every time, the answers can be cached. Now, the other options within this setting is the appearance tab. So the appearance lets you change the theme. You can even set pictures to be the background to the survey, and these pictures come with some pretty wacky associated designs, or you can just go for a simpler design. And we've also got the settings tab here, which allows you to choose whether or not you have a thank you screen when someone has finished the survey, and you can edit this as you see appropriate. You may remember in the deer survey we had some questions with different rules set. So I'm going to go into the web designer for the deer survey. So this is where I made the deer survey, and again we can drag in different questions as we see fit. And you can see that this question has these symbols up here, and this is because I've set rules for this question. So if yes, show this question. So if I select yes to this option, it will bring up this question. And if I select any of the other options, then we'll never see this question. So that is done simply by selecting an option in here and then choosing which question you'd like it to take you to. We can also duplicate questions and then delete questions. So once you've completed your survey and you've got all of the questions that you'd like to be asking, then you've completed step 1 in the 3-step process and you're ready to share the survey. So to do this, you go to the Collaborate tab, and here you're given a link. You'll need to make sure that you set up the sharing permissions to your survey. So here I can select everyone can submit to this survey if I'm sharing it out to the public, or if it's an isolated group, then I can set that as well. You can edit some of the other settings to allow multiple submissions and to close the survey once you no longer want people to be filling it in. We can also go to the Settings tab, where it lets us know about the version that you're currently in, but you can also add webhooks. So webhooks can be set up to activate when a survey response is submitted, and it can then call and trigger another action, such as sending a notification email or appending the survey content to a separate spreadsheet, for example. So it's something you can consider. If we now go to the Overview tab, we can see the results that are all coming in. So my DEAR survey has been completed 22 times by 4 different participants. We can then have a look at the data that those individuals have provided to the survey by going into the Data tab. So within the Data tab, we can see that the 22 points have now been uploaded onto this map, as well as they've automatically been updated into this table. In this table, each of the columns represents how someone filled out a survey. As we scroll down, we can see the different responses. If you'd like to take this table somewhere else, then we've got the ability to export it here. We can also open up the map in Map Viewer, which I'll do in a second. But currently, what we want to do is know how individuals responded to a different question, such as what species of deer did you see? So I'm going to go into the Analyze tab, and I'm going to go to what species of deer did you see? And here we can see a breakdown of the different responses. So we can see that 45% of the surveys were individuals spotting roe deer, and we can present this data in slightly different ways. As well as this automatic map has been generated where it's symbolized the different points based on the species of deer. So if we want to take this slightly further, we can go into the Data tab. We can open our map in the Map Viewer. And here's all of our data. I'm going to change the base map to an imagery map. I'm then going to search in the Living Atlas. I'm going to add areas of outstanding natural beauty to the map. I'm going to change the style. So that layer has now been added in, and I'm going to rearrange the order of the layers, and then I can change the symbology to the species of deer. This map now shows the sightings of different species of deer from our survey. It shows us that some of these sightings occurred within areas of natural beauty, and the datasets that have been produced will allow us to further analyse deer populations as more survey responses come in. We have now completed all 3 steps of Survey123's workflow, and we have the ability to answer many of the questions we had at the start of the process. Survey123 is being updated regularly, with new functionality such as line and polygon questions being recent additions. You can also look into Survey123 Connect, where you can create a survey by editing a spreadsheet. This allows more complexity and calculations within your survey. I hope this video has given you a good introduction into how you can use Survey123 to help answer your questions and boost your data collection. Thanks.